Okay, so what I've got here, this whole mess, is my pieces that I have cut out, my bottles that I've cut up, so you can kind of get an idea of where I was going with this. Now, I've got one way that didn't work that I'm hopefully going to be able to show you guys a way that'll help it, but for the most part, I'm going to go through the easiest ways first, okay? And if you stopped by my room and you picked up some of the string, okay, that's what this bundle is here. I'm going to show you two different ways of doing it. One, okay, depending on how many bottles is going to determine how big of a loop that you're going to need to make, okay? So if you have like 12 to 15 bottles, probably about 14, maybe 18 inches is going to be enough for you to tie all of those together. If you have 35, 40 bottles or something like that, obviously you're going to need a longer loop. My suggestion is tie the loops, and I'll show you how to do this in just a second, tie the loops onto your bottles first, then string them all together and then tie that off, okay? And that'll make sense in just a minute. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by cutting off pieces that are about, 6 inches. And you're going to need one for each one of your bottles, okay? And you can kind of just fold it over like that. Okay, and so I'm just going to do a couple just for right now, just so you guys can see it. So right there I've got 4 pieces cut. And then very simple. This is very similar to the way that the lady on the video that we watched the other day, where she had done it with Sharpie markers. And that's the other thing is you're more than welcome to use Sharpie markers. I just didn't want you guys to do it because it's not going to be as durable and it's not going to last as long. The colors will fade if you have them in the sunlight somewhere. So after about 6-8 months, they're going to be faded out and they're not going to hold their color. If you want to do it for this project and you're not really planning on holding on to this forever and ever, then that'll be fine. If that's all you have and you don't, and you can't get to the store to buy, or you don't want to go to the store to buy paint and all you have is some colored Sharpies, go ahead and use it. It's okay. I think I kind of was unclear about, that part of it. If you've already started painting, keep going with the paint. It works fine. Not to mention, I believe I saw at Target in the dollar section, when you first walk in, there's that little dollar section. They had little bottles of acrylic paint. Now that was at my Target that's in Santa Margarita. If they have them here, I don't know, but usually everybody carries the same thing. So I've taken my little piece of string, I fed it through the nozzle of my bottle that I've already cut out, okay? And then I'm gonna go ahead and tie, and just like in the video, I'm gonna go ahead and tie a double overhand knot, just a regular overhand knot, and then a third one, just to make sure that it's gonna stay nice and safe. Sometimes the doubles will come apart, okay? And so there we go. Set that guy aside. Then we're gonna do the same thing for this one, all right? Tie it in just 3 overhand knots, just so that we make sure that it's nice and safe, okay? And what I've done here is now I've got this little loop that I can then hang everything off of, okay? So there's 2, and then we're gonna we'll go with the blue one here if I can get this untangled from everything. Not that critical at this particular point, but we'll go through. And then when I put this through, okay, I also slide this up so it's as close as I can get it to the opening of the nozzle. That way I don't have to use as much string. I'll tie it together like that, okay? Okay, and again, now I've got this little kind of loop there. And since these two seem to be attached, there we go, I'll tie this to one more. And this will be a little bit time consuming, but you'll see how quickly it builds once you've got this, these all tied together. Then it's just a matter of sliding them all on. Now I've got a couple of different things that I want to show you before I start putting this together, okay? So there I've got like that little loop there that I can then tie things together. All right, now again, I use smart water bottles just because that's what I had access to. My wife had a whole bunch of them, like I said. And so what you'll notice is when I hold this up, okay, again, remember I painted the first coat was the dark blue, that's the outside, and then third coat is with the white, but notice how this stretches out, okay? It becomes about 3.5, 4 feet long, all right? And at the top here, it stretches out more because there's more weight pulling on it. And then as it gets lower and lower, you'll notice that down here, okay, the curls get a little bit tighter. So that's just one effect that I saw. And these are all cut at about 1 inch thickness, okay, through there. Now, I did do a couple of them, and this is one here, okay, this purple one. Notice that I cut this much thicker. This is about 2 inches, maybe a little better than 2 inches. But notice how much shorter it is, okay, compared to this one, all right? So it's not gonna stick out as much, but what that does is that gives me a little bit different effect and a different look, okay? And then, yeah, and I've got a bunch of other ones. So that just gives me something to kind of look forward to. All right, so the way that the lady on the video did from the other day, okay, and because I've got about 14, 15 bottles, okay, I'm gonna go with about, I don't know, about 18 inches of string. Just gonna go ahead and, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and feed that string through one, and then through the next one. And then I would probably alternate colors. I got this really long one. This is one of those big square Crystal Geyser bottles. So I'll probably alternate the colors. I've got blue, green, and purple. Okay, so then I'm gonna go ahead and go with that one. And then all I'm doing is feeding it through these things. And eventually, once I get these all together, okay, you can see this is starting to build. And as I get more and more of them attached, okay, I'll then have a loop and I'll hang it like that. Now this is only 4 bottles. Obviously, it's going to look much different when I've got all of my bottles on there, okay? But you can see that, you need to get a smaller stool so you can see the whole thing, okay? That's one way of connecting them if you so choose, okay? Set those over there for right now. Now, here is the other way, and I haven't done this one yet, but I remembered this, okay? And what I'm thinking is, what we can do, all right, I'm gonna take one of these that's kind of a little bit on the thicker side, okay? I'm gonna feed, this is the whole length of my, what I have left of my string here, okay? And then what I'm gonna do is I'm going to go ahead and take that back, okay? Go down through the top of the bottle first. That's important, all right? And you'll see why in just a second. I'm gonna go through the top of the bottle first, okay? If I come around here, you guys can see this a little bit closer, okay? So I'm gonna go through the top of the bottle first. So the string went down in through the top, okay? And then I'm going to go ahead and tie this off so that the string ends up near the top. Again, do 3 overhand knots, okay? Just like that, so it's nice and solid, okay? Then, we're gonna take our next one. There's the end of my string, and very simply, I'm gonna slide it in through the bottom. This is then gonna go all the way down, and it will attach itself and just stack on top of that one. And then it's just a matter of continually adding these on, just like so. And just, you know, I would alternate colors, just so that I've got a good variety, or maybe you want to do all one color and then all the next color. But again, you can see how this is starting to build up. We need to go with the green one next. And then a purple, okay? And so we're just gonna continue stacking these up. And I forgot to show this to my first grade class, so they could kind of see it. Now, the one thing I do like about this is that it covers and you get this nice solid piece that goes through here because it's so compacted and so concentrated with the colors and stuff. It also hides the string. You don't get any kind of view of the string, but you can kind of see how this is starting to build. And if I continue to add these, where do we need to go? Blue next. Got another blue one. I can't get the end. There it is. Okay, and it just slides on one after another until you get all of your bottles connected together. Okay, And now we're starting to get that Chihuly kind of style thing there. Now you can see this one here just kind of went off to the side. If you wrap around each other all like that, I got a feeling it's just going to end up looking more cylindrical. So if they do kind of, you know, don't wrap around perfectly or something like that, you know, and that's one thing that I wanted to try. I just thought about this. Let me grab this guy. What if I were to, instead of putting it this way, what if I put it this way? What happens now? See, now we start getting something a little bit different. Changes the angle, changes the height, okay? Pushes it out a little bit more. I don't know. Play around with it and see how it goes, okay? But that is another way that you can put these together. Okay. Now I gotta take these apart somehow to the next part of this. Okay. So that's how to connect it using just the string, okay? Let me pause.